done.
We freed the timeline. We found him. Beyond the storm. A citadel at the end of time. He's terrifying. He planned everything. He's seen everything. He knows everything. It's complicated, okay? But someone is coming. Countless different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare.
Take it easy. You're an analyst, right? What division are you from?
What are you talking about?
Who are you? What's your name?
Boots on the ground now, archives.
Who are you?
What I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to believe again.
Who be? Hello?
Oh, hey guys.
Hello?
I don't know why no one has said this yet, but it's been staring us in the face for years. Well, maybe not years, but since the end of Loki season 1. In fact, if you think back to it, before the end of season 1, it is clear that Loki is going to be in charge, or is going to be pinnacle to the whole multiversal saga. If you rewatch the ending scene before Sylvie prematurely and killed He Who Remains, that Loki is literally going to be in charge of the TVA, or he's basically going to be the Tony Stark of the multiversal saga. But Loki was a villain. Yeah, but this is not the Loki that got choked out and was killed at the hands of Thanos. This is Loki from a different timeline who pieced out from that scene in New York and ended up getting captured by the TVA and didn't get pruned. But he got pruned, didn't he? By who? Most likely by himself. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're on Neuron, make subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. You could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know. Could Loki Season 2 save Marvel? I don't really think Marvel needs saving, to be honest. I just think the general audience, now, if you listen to videos like this, you're not the general audience. The general audience are the people that go to the cinemas and don't really look into theories and look into breakdowns or anything like that. So, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, let me know down below. Is Loki gonna be the villain and take out Kang? Or is Loki gonna work with Kang? Or is Loki just gonna become the god of mischief again? So, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter or x.com, which isn't a website, although it sounds like that, WarstuG. So, I think a lot of people are misinformed. Even people that have large social media followings are so ill-informed. So Michael Waldron worked on Loki season 1. So when I see ridiculous tweets like this, we need the Loki team working on Kang's Dynasty and Secret Wars. Okay, cool story, bro. Loki season 1, Michael Waldron worked on it. Cool story, bro. Okay, let's break this down. Ant-Man 3, a lot of people misinterpreted the ending of what really happened. Kang cannot die. He has infinite variances, but the variances aren't him. I get what you're saying, but that doesn't really make much sense. So let's break it down. And I get it. Tom Hiddleston's a very good actor. I've seen him in a play called Betrayal in Central London. He's a very good actor. I get it. I get why people weren't scared of He Who Remains, but if you actually listen to what He Who Remains said at the end of Loki season 1, you should have seen how terrifying He Who Remains really is. But I understand people. I understand the general audience. I understand Tom Hiddleston's acting is crazy. So people are like, yeah, the first 5 minutes, like, I can't even begin to express how much better this scene is presenting Kang as a huge threat in the entire of Quantum Mania. I get it. The opening scene, the first 5 minutes when Loki's like, yo, this dude, he's coming back. He's always coming back. Yeah, because he's everywhere. He's literally everywhere. So Kang is going to be a great threat. And it makes complete sense now why Jonathan Majors was always going to be a part of Loki Season 2. Although we haven't seen him yet, Victor Timely. It makes sense why Loki and Jonathan Majors playing every variant of Kang and also Kang the Conqueror. It makes sense to me, and I understand the ending of Ant-Man 3 The problem was they did reshoots for that movie and they reshot the ending of that movie when certain people were supposed to get stuck in the quantum realm, but they changed the ending so they didn't get stuck in the quantum realm and everybody got home safe. So it's a real interesting scenario because now people are like, yo, Kang's an absolute freaking beast. But if you go back, I can't put it in this video, obviously, for copyright reasons, but right at the end of the season, it's like 2-3 minutes long at the end of season 1 of Loki. He literally says that what He Remains is doing has to be done. So let's break this down. So everybody's thinking that we're going to get into this scenario where it's Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, where in Kang's Dynasty, the heroes are going to lose. But there really does need to be real deaths in Kang's Dynasty. Like, top tier Avengers need to die. I'm not saying everyone needs to die, but it needs to be completely different. So in Infinity War, we had fake deaths. What do you mean? Well, sure, they were snapped away, they dusted away, but they came back. So this time round, they need real deaths, and the outcome after Secret Wars just can't be the Avengers won, because that would be so freaking generic. So recently it came out via the Loki director, and they basically said the TVA is the multiversal police, and they're going to be literally everywhere, which pretty much confirms the TVA storyline, and the TVA will be appearing, and we know Owen Wilson, who is in Loki season 1 and 2, was filming for Deadpool. So we know the TVA have a part to play in Deadpool 3, and the ramifications of the multiversal concepts that have been already shown within Loki season 2 first episode are interesting. So what's interesting is some of the press, and I say it very loosely because, let's be honest, a lot of people get access to TV shows, video games, and movies early. So people that have seen Loki season 2, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, don't make theories when you've already seen stuff. It's just so obvious to me when I'm seeing stuff on social media who's actually watched episode 2, 3, 4, because it's almost like people are telling you what's going to happen, but dubbing it like a theory. That's not cool. That's really not cool. So it's going to be a scenario where it's not really formal. So Loki was a villain, but this is not, okay, technically it's still the villain Loki because he was the villain of the Avengers and he had the cube and he disappeared away, and that's where he appeared in the desert in Loki season 1. So it's going to be a scenario where Loki is the villain. He was a villain of the Avengers. It's actually going to be the one to take down Kang, predominantly. It really is an interesting scenario where it's going to be villain versus villain. But what does Loki do when he gets all this power? Because we know he's a god of mischief. We know he's a god. Is he really going to be good when he gets all this power? And essentially what could happen by the end, and just for full clarification and for disclaimer purposes, I've only watched episode 1 of Loki. I haven't seen Loki season 2, episode 2, 3, 4. I promise I haven't seen it. So it's quite clear to me that Loki and Sylvie, by the end of the season, and there's going to be multiple cliffhangers coming up for sure. So obvious. And the post-credit scenes are even more important. So it's going to be quite obvious by the end of the season, Loki and Sylvie will be taking the place of He Who Remains. It's a very interesting concept this season, because already in episode 1, it's already explained so much that people didn't really understand. But if you go back and watch Ant-Man 3 and actually listen to what was said, it blows my mind how everyone's always like, yo, Kang the Conqueror's so weak because he was defeated by ants. It's like, you do realize how strong ants are when they are together. Like, Ant-Man and his ants could literally take out anyone. Literally take out anyone. It's almost like you don't even need to read comic books to understand this, but I get it. I'm not a big comic book dude, but I mean, even Kang in the comics sucked. Kang's not a very good villain. Let's be honest, and we all want Doctor Doom. But there are some huge complaints since the episode aired, now comparing, oh my god, why didn't Loki just set up Kang? Why did they use Ant-Man? Well, because that was telling the story, and they were telling the story about how he got there. And I really find it fascinating, the kind of state that Marvel's in at the moment. It's still in a bad place, but I believe by the end of Loki season 2, that people will actually appreciate how much of a freaking badass Kang and all his variants are going to be. So I do believe that Marvel can be saved, for sure. Do they need to be saved? I don't think Marvel need to be saved. They're just in this weird space because they tried to set up a lot of stuff, but didn't really set up a lot of stuff. The problem is we had the thing that happened in the world. I don't really think it's due to because of the writer's strike or the actor's strike. I don't think that's really the case. The problem is they kind of pushed this multiversal storyline We got to Loki season 1. That kind of explained everything. We got to No Way Home. That kind of explained everything. We got to Doctor Strange 2. That really explained everything. And then Ant-Man 3 kind of happened, and everyone's like, yo, so this is supposed to be the big bad. He's nothing like Thanos. But that's the point. It's a multiversal threat. There's multiple variances. And I really think it's the general audience that doesn't really comprehend and understand what they're trying to do. But I do think it's cool, and I really hope it's real, that Loki is essentially going to be the Tony Stark. What I mean by I don't mean he's going to become a billionaire and a genius. What I mean is he is pinnacle to taking down Kang the Conqueror and all the other. And Kang the Conqueror is not dead, that is clear. But it is fascinating, all the rules that have been put in place. Because even from the first 5 minutes of Loki episode 1 of the new season, Kang's statue is literally everywhere. So Kang is being back in the past. He's been in the future. Kang sees everything. He knows everything. Their lives were stolen. Very interesting. So I get it. There's no actual... This video is very sporadic. It's very all over the place. But I think people just need to give Marvel more time to build it up. It doesn't help that we've only got the Marvels coming out after this. Then literally there's nothing else because Deadpool 3 hasn't presumed shooting yet. They've only filmed half the movie. If this actors strike doesn't stop soon, there's no way they can release it next year. And then there's going to be a massive gap again. And then people will lose faith because the rest of Disney Plus shows are grounded stuff and it's got nothing to do with multiversal stuff. The problem Marvel is they're trying to do this multiversal storyline. Then they've got the Daredevil and the Echo. They should really just axe that TV show. They've got the grounded level stuff, but it's a multiversal saga, so realistically everything needs to connect. But I believe the Loki show can do that. It can explain all these concepts of the sacred timeline. Loki can actually save everything. You just need to chill and give it a chance because Loki is going to become great. It really is. And if you watch the first episode, you can really see where it's going. And Loki may actually be the savior. He may actually lead the heroes in Kang's Dynasty and Secret Wars and not be Tom Holland. Spider-Man. Loki is actually pretty much the most loved person in the MCU. Maybe Tom Holland might just edge him out slightly, but everyone loves Loki because Loki's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's like an anti-hero, if you like. So I think Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Marvel should really get behind him, and it looks like that's the case. And the fact there wasn't any reshoots, but I was hearing from my sources that there were reshoots, and it turns out they didn't reshoot anything, which tells you whatever storyline they're trying to tell, they haven't backtracked at all, which is cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the storyline will play out with time. So like always, guys, let us know everything you think about Loki Season 2 so far, Episode 1. If you've seen Episode 2, 3, 4, don't make out you haven't, and put the spoiler tag down below so people know that. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, HTG. And we'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.